Podcasting 101 with me, your host, Rachel. This podcast is for female business owners and solopreneurs that are looking to start a podcast that adds to your own already awesome offering. I'll give you helpful advice that you can take away and use in your podcasting journey. I hope to answer those tricky questions that just keep you from starting. Once a month, I'll be joined by other female podcasters. They'll share their journey with you and offer tips and advice they discovered along the way. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode. This week, I thought I would share with you the tools that I use to make my podcasting life easier. Firstly, one big tool that I do use is Captivate. This is my hosting platform. It's a paid platform, but in my opinion, it's well worth the £17 a month. So let's have a little look at some of my favourite tools. There's the episode planning tool, which I really love. Here you get to write out the notes that you're going to use to talk about the episode. For example, now I have my notes in front of me about the tools and my favourite things about them. You can put in a summary, you can put in the title, you can add research links, which I really, really like this feature. So anything that I talk about, so all the tools that I'm going to talk about in this episode, I'm going to link in the show notes. And with research links, you can save the links so you can use them again. It includes the link, you can change the title, and also you can put a little description on it, which I find really, really good. So take a look for yourself and see the research link section in my show notes. You can set up show notes, templates of show notes, so to save you time each time you do them. You can have calls to action, and these can be dynamic, where if you update them, it will then update if you've clicked dynamic version of your calls to action or the information that you're putting in. It means that when you update those calls for action, it will update them on all your other episodes as well, which is a really great feature, especially if you've got people going through your back catalogue of episodes. It will keep the updates and the calls to action fresh, so you don't have to go back and individually change all the links in the previous episodes, which means you won't get anybody with broken links, which I think is really, really good, making it easy for them. There is a booking guest feature. So you send out the booking link and they can book directly into the calendar, into the scheduler. And you can add options for like what information you want them to provide. So like I asked my guests to provide a short bio, their social links, a picture. This is so I can put this information in the show notes and then also use it for my social media content. So when I want to share, put an image in their audiogram or social media post, I can do that easily without having to go back and ask them again. My only tiny, and it's such a tiny little thing with the scheduler, is although you can put dates where you're not available, it doesn't link up to your calendar like Calendly, something like Calendly does. So that if you say, for example, you've got something that's got in your diary, you could basically get a double booking, somebody could go in. But my way to combat this is I've decided on days that I want to record. So I prefer to do my recording on Wednesday and Thursday mornings. This is a time I've set aside for that. So in my calendar that's linked to Calendly, I block that out. So no one can book in that. And then if there's some weeks where I'm not available that day, however, I go into the Captivate platform and put my days that I'm not available. So that combats that situation. That's just something to be aware of if you are going to be considering Captivate, that you don't get your double bookings in your calendar. But it is good to have everything all in the platform there. It just makes things so much easier when you're putting together the episodes. And you can also... so once the guest is booked in, when you go to the episode, when you're publishing the episode, you can link that guest in. So all the information will automatically go in, which again is saving you so much time on those little parts that can just take a little bit more time. So that's really great. That's what I love about Captivate. The platform is so easy to use and it's pretty intuitive. So if you're interested in looking at a paid platform, for these features and things that I've talked about, you can get a 7-day free trial. I'll put a link in the show notes in the research link so you can check that out for yourself. Okay, so my next tool, Headliner. I've talked about Headliner before. I absolutely love this tool for making my audiograms. It's also really great. You can do audio clips and visual clips. So you can upload your video clips here if you're doing a video podcast, for example, or you want to do, and also just for social media, just an extra little tip there for your marketing, and you can put captions on it. So I always caption my audiograms visual or just audio. I do the design for the audiogram in Canva, which is another tool I couldn't do without. I do all my design work in Canva. Any graphics you see in my marketing is all done in Canva. I just love what you can do with Canva. So Otter.ai, I love this app as well. Sometimes if I want to plan out my episodes and I'm not feeling just typing it out, I will talk into Otter and then transcribe it and then pick the notes out from there to follow for the episode, which works really well. This is also really good if you like doing some of your best thinking outside. If you're on a walk, you can record easily in your phone and then you can have that and you don't have to kind of like retype it back up when you get home. I also use Otter to transcribe all my episodes and then export it as an SRT file, which I can upload into Captivate so that there is a transcription of the episode there for those that need it or want it. It's also really good for sometimes picking out quotes. So obviously when you're going to pick out clips for your audiogram, you'll listen back to the episode and highlight the clip you want to take. But sometimes I find, and I found this with one of my clients, they like to have an audiogram clip and they like to have a quote. So when I'm thinking of a quote or when I'm listening to an episode, I'll make a note of the timestamp. And sometimes it's, a bit long or you just don't want to spend ages re-listening to it to type it out. I then go back to the timestamp in the transcription and copy and paste it and then just check it for spelling mistakes, just make sure that it's like they haven't transcribed the words wrong. But I just think this is a little hack that can save some time, especially if you're transcribing the episode anyway. It's also really good to transcribe the episode just to have a visual document of it for when you're doing your social media posts. If you want to round up some points and things like that and lift some content straight out of there, it's really easy to do. For my scheduling, for my social media to promote the podcast, I use Buffer, which is free, and the Meta Business Suite, which is what I use for Facebook and Instagram. I found that scheduling to Instagram from Buffer hasn't been all that easy. Sometimes it fails or doesn't work, whether that's because of the connectivity of the accounts. So I much prefer to use Meta Business Suite. Plus, I want to schedule to my Facebook business page, which I can't connect to Buffer. So yeah, I just do all that there. And also you can't do the mentions in Buffer, which is a little bit irritating. I find that annoying with the posts I schedule when I have my guest ones. So sometimes I don't schedule my guest ones. I post those natively so that I can tag them in it, or have to remember to go back and edit the post to add the person in. But in MetaSuite, you can, as long as they've got an Instagram or a Facebook account, you can tag them directly in the post or mention them directly in the post. So I really like that feature. Audacity, another tool I couldn't do without. Obviously, like I said, I record my solo episodes into Audacity. I edit in Audacity. I polish the audio in Audacity. I think I first came across it many years ago. My husband introduced it to me back in my uni days. And it's something that came up first when I was thinking about editing tools. I don't have Apple. I'm not an Apple user. So like GarageBand or whatever the Apple one is wasn't really an option for me. I think it's really user-friendly. I like the fact that I can see my levels on the microphone when I'm talking. I have got to grips with the tools and the effects in here. So this is just what I find really comfortable. And now that I am really used to the software, I find that I can edit really quickly and easily. My final favourite tool is Asana. It's a project management tool. It's very similar to Trello, Monday, Notion, ClickUp, that kind of tool. But out of all the few that I've tried, I prefer Asana just because that's just what I prefer. I like looking at the Kanban view. I like having things in calendar. I have different boards. I mean, I use it for other parts of my business as well as my podcast and for my clients, for myself to keep a track of what needs to be done. I like the fact you can make subtasks within a task so you can tick off what you've done. So for my podcast planning, I will have a task for each episode. And within that, I'll have like I've recorded it, edited it, audiogram clip, create a social media post, show notes, all those kind of things. So I can clearly see what I need to get done for each episode. And then obviously the episode as a whole. So this works really well for me. These are the tools that I use to make my podcasting life easier. I would love to hear from you to see which tools you use to make your podcast life easier and why you love them. So either DM me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or you can pop me an email. I would love to hear from you. As ever, if you have any questions around these tools or you'd like a little bit more information about any of them, please let me know and I will catch you next time. Thanks. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please like, share and subscribe. Your support means so much to me. If there's a question or topic you'd like covering, then I'd love to hear from you. Find the podcast on Instagram @RachelBotfield and drop me a DM. Till next time, bye.